perhaps for the first time ever, Washington's most historic home, along with some of its watering holes, are jammin' and slammin'.
I hate people that killed the 7-Eleven clerk. You know, you mad at somebody, go get AIG.
At the White House, musicians, actors, playwrights, and poets pack the ornate East Room.
We're here to celebrate the power of words and music to help us appreciate beauty.
It's been called the first poetry jam in presidential history.
My tongue's a broken needle scratching through the grooves of a lost wisdom, trying to find a faith that beats like yours.
And probably established some precedents.
Did you store the memory of your creator in strands of hair tucked into scented soap boxes or placentas buried under avocado trees?
I have wanted to do this from day one. The notion of standing in this room and hearing some poetry and spoken word.
But there's a broader cultural renaissance engulfing this city that stretches well beyond the gates of 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue.
So I gave myself a challenge: write love poems. It was so basic. So I could write love poems.
Busboys and Poets is a restaurant, left-wing bookstore, and performance space 1 block from what was once the former Black Broadway. Now it's the hipster part of town. Busboys has a following of its own, and its own webcast.
Our actions were the same, but why continue faking? Fine, let it go on aching. Let it go breaking, just fading away, as we both have no intentions of going back and replacing.
It's become the unofficial home to followers of the new president.
We are just one resource for the progressives to come and refuel and re-energize their souls, so to speak.
Andy Shalal is Busboys and Poets' Iraqi-American owner. He is a Gandhi-like character for the digital age, regularly parked at a table behind a Mac Airbook. He's removed some of Washington's walls and created a confluence between politics and literature where no membership ID is required.
Well, we don't actively go seek out pro-war people or people that hate peace, or people that don't like social justice. We don't actively seek those people. So we don't necessarily want to label people Democrat or Republican or anything else. Washington's a very liberal town. Obviously during the Obama sort of process of having him be elected, we were very involved in that process, the primaries all throughout.
In a city of winners and losers, the loser is Smith Point. For the last 8 years, it was George W. Bush's young Republican preppy bar in Georgetown.
Once, Jenna and Barbara moved to town, we started having a whole nother influx of a lot of people associated with the White House, the Republican Party.
It was a famed hangout for the Bush twins. Now it's struggling for relevance in a city that has embraced change, and where that change has taken on various forms of expression and diversity.
The book opens with the Marbury tragedy, and it closes with the Virginia Tech tragedy. But between all of that craziness, there has to be love, because that's all that's there.
Over the last few months, there has been a noticeable shift.
Political movements have often developed informal watering holes within convenient walking distance of their official digs. Samuel Johnson frequented the 18th century London Tories pub, Ye Old Cheshire Cheese. The 1930s French rightists had the left bank Café de Flore. There's a sense that sort of salon scene is developing here.
Movements are about individual incremental steps rather than huge leaps. And I think that's something that we can learn from one another, whether we're Republicans or Democrats.
Numbers are only shapes meant to deceive us into believing that anything at all is certain.
Busboys and Poets is where the radical was chic even before Obama came to town.
To beat, to base, to bone, to flesh, we are all truly miraculous.
Now it's a meeting place where the powerful and creative exist side by side.
The grasses sprout, seducing the winged and the hoofed.
Joel Seidman, NBC News, Washington.